All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking the rhythmic architecture and the absolute lyrical mastery behind the Lyrical All-star Be More's Gold flow. You know, if you've ever listened to a rap verse and wondered exactly why it gets stuck in your head, why it literally makes you want to get up and move, well, you are definitely in the right place. To really break this down, we're going to look at the anatomy of the rhyme scheme, dive into the metaphors and pop culture, check out the shout-out flow shift, explore those deep Baltimore roots, and finally wrap up with mastering the gold flow. Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, Anatomy of the Rhyme Scheme, building the foundation. Just look at the sheer density of the wordplay we're dealing with here. When you isolate the N words, this rapid-fire pattern totally emerges. Notice how there's this super tight A scheme, flows, toes, nose, shows, that just seamlessly transitions right into a heavy B scheme. Fold, gold, told, old, bold, cold. It's just incredibly precise, like a mathematical equation. So this specific technique, it's called an end rhyme. That's where the final words of the lines share the exact same ending sound, giving us a really satisfying rhythmic anchor. In this track, this relentless stacking acts almost like a metronome for the listener. It keeps the energy super high and just drives the whole verse forward, without really letting you catch your breath. You can actually hear that dense rhythmic stacking in action right here with the lines, "Truth be told, I'm too old to be this bold, iced tea flow, aka just cold." By using 5 hard old sounds in just 2 lines, the artist carves out this punchy, super aggressive cadence. It demands your attention. You practically have to listen to the beat they're carving out with their words.
Moving right along to Section 2, Metaphors and Pop Culture, looking at the lyrical arsenal.
Now, a massive weapon in this arsenal is the simile, directly comparing 2 different things using like or as. The artist isn't just listing off facts. They're painting a really vivid picture of their skill level. It makes all that braggadocio so much more memorable and visual for us. Take this line, for example, "Silver outside, but solid as gold." They're comparing their outward appearance to something valuable, sure, but they're declaring their internal artistic worth as entirely unshakable. It's this powerful, confident statement about substance over surface. And just look at this dizzying array of pop culture references all packed into a single breath, from Bo Jackson and Ice-T to John Legend, Mike Tyson, and even Baltimore's own Action Jackson. By directly comparing themselves to these legendary athletes and musicians, the artist is establishing their elite status. They're telling you exactly what top-tier level they operate on. But hey, they aren't afraid to get a little obscure either. I absolutely love that they pull out a nostalgic, super niche reference to the classic mecha anime Tranzor Z. It totally proves that their lyrical toolkit is as unpredictable as it is entertaining. It keeps us actively engaged wondering, okay, what wild reference are they going to drop next? All right, Section 3, the shout-out flow shift, changing the cadence.
You've got to notice the contrast here. It's night and day. On one side, you have the intense, tightly packed syllables of the intro's ego flow. Spitfire, volcano raps. But then, those fast-paced lyrics completely open up into a looser, much more conversational rhythm when the artist takes a moment to highlight their live band. The pacing literally just opens up and breathes.
The artist uses this section to systematically map out the literal stage for us, to give each band member a dedicated rhythmic pocket and a custom rhyme. Nelly Ride means it's always a party. Uncle Bruce gets loose and feels the juice. Coach Doug on the keys, Mimi on the drums getting dumb, and Big Vern passing the test. It's so cool because every single member is introduced with their own unique musical swing. And it's lines like Uncle Dennis on the other guitar, smooth like a brother chewing gum, that completely change the texture of the track. It shifts us away from that fierce battle rap vibe and drops us right into a laid-back, community-focused groove. Next up, Section 4, Baltimore Roots and Rhythm, Grounding the Sound. By casually name-dropping specific local cuisine like Half and Half and Lake Trout, the artist is proudly planting their flag right in Baltimore. They aren't just rapping into a void here, they're speaking directly from a distinct cultural hub, and they're inviting us right into that specific world. Now, notice the spelling of style here with an H. This is definitely not a typo, folks. It's a highly deliberate phonetic choice. It actually forces you to hear the exact local accent and rhythmic cadence they intended in your head. It's basically textual sound design, which is just brilliant. And this is exactly how the artist layers their identity. They juxtapose the harshness of the streets with the beauty of an amaryllis flower, calling themselves N Street Amaryllis, to create a really complex personal narrative. They've shifted entirely from universal pop stars down to the hyper-local, giving their authority some true deep roots.
Finally, Section 5, Mastering the Gold Flow.
Here, the artist returns to those heavy end rhymes we saw earlier, saw, far, star, along with their signature simile usage. They compare their momentum to a seesaw before finally delivering their ultimate, self-proclaimed title. The rhythm just builds back up to this massive grand crescendo.
So, bringing it all together, this performance isn't just random. It is a calculated three-step mechanical process. First, it hooks you with that incredible density. Then, it breathes by shifting the cadence to shout out the band. And finally, it grounds the entire experience in authentic local culture.
As you think about the lake trout and that really deliberate Be More style cadence we just explored, I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder. How does the geography of where you live dictate the rhythm of your words? It's something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.